Greetings, everybody. You're listening to What We Saw on Stolen Cable. This particular episode, we're calling it The Future's So Bleak, I Had to Wear Shades to See They Live. And this is a John Carpenter classic from the 80s, starring Roddy Piper and Keith David. I'm your host, Uncle Patches, and I'm here with
Sinister Cinema.
All right, so this is a personal favorite of both of ours.
Yeah.
John Carpenter is a genius in, I guess you would call it subversive.
Yes. He very kind of gritty films, I guess you would call them, maybe.
Notes here specifically say minimalist filmmaking.
Yeah.
With heavy synth scoring, and I do believe he does a lot of his own music in his films.
Yes, he does.
So major hits John Carpenter would have been a part of: Halloween, Escape from New York, and The Thing. And I think The Thing has got like a 40-year anniversary.
Yeah, I think
this year.
It's
40, 45 or something like that.
Very iconic film also. Halloween, very famous. Everyone, I think.
But yeah, Halloween's got like a bazillion sequels.
Yeah. And
I mean, he was only associated with like the first one or two.
Reboots and all kinds of things.
Yeah. And Escape from New York had a sequel of its own. That was
Escape from LA.
Escape from LA. Those would both star the great
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know why whenever we hit record, I can't remember anything. That's why we've got notes. If you hear a bunch of pages turning, that's me trying to overcome my early onset Alzheimer's, I suppose.
So.
All right. So this is a. Go ahead.
Go. Film opens up with the main character played by Roddy Piper.
Yeah, that's Roddy Piper is the weird. Well, not the weird part of it. It's the thing that really doesn't fit. Roddy Piper is a professional wrestler back from the 80s, and he was notoriously paid to heel, right?
Yes, for the most part. And so he was playing a hero. It was also a big deal that they had a wrestler playing in a starring role in a major motion picture at that time because
yeah, that's funny. I didn't even look up the dollar amount on this one. How much it cost to make.
Well, look that up and I'll get through this.
All right.
So at the time, wrestlers weren't really allowed to get into acting because of the fact that people would still saw wrestling as not an act. And if you had a wrestler also be an actor, people would be able to make that kind of connection a little bit easier to say, wait a minute, if he's acting in this, maybe he's acting in the ring also. And so,
Well, Roddy Piper actually suffered from that because I was watching his documentary, and he was stabbed once, right?
Yeah, I think so. And because a lot of people took the roles pretty seriously, and they were never really allowed to break what they call kayfabe, even on the streets. Traditional babyface character, which is the good guys, who weren't allowed to hang out with the traditional heel characters.
Not in public anymore.
Not in public, no. So they had to keep that illusion alive, even out of the ring. That was the reason why they, again, weren't really allowed to get into acting roles.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so I got the number up here. This one, $4 million back in the 1980s. That would have been a lot of money.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I think he was the only wrestler that didn't have to actually quit or to do this movie role. Sergeant Slaughter was told that, when he was going to be Sergeant Slaughter in G.I. Joe, that he would be fired because, same thing. It was an acting role. And Sergeant Slaughter was pretty much told him that he can be a wrestler at any time in his life, but he only gets one chance to be G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
So that was.
Well, I mean, I really loved him in the G.I. Joe film, and of course, when you're a kid, you don't really associate, the wrestling. You figure that, hey, they were so good about keeping the characters separate and stuff like that. He went heel in wrestling.
Yes.
And joined the Iron Sheik, right?
Yes. He was. Yeah, the Iron Sheik was playing a different character at the time. He was a Colonel Mustafa.
Yeah.
he was an Iraqi sympathizer, and this was during the original Gulf War, and that was a big deal.
Yeah,
He
that
was,
really turned me off Sergeant Slaughter, and I haven't been able to look him at the same way since. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I mean, it had to have been interesting for him to be able to do something different, but you can't go from GI Joe and then become the villain.
yeah, it was. And the funny thing, the really funny thing about it is that by that time, everyone knew that wrestling was an act,
Yeah,
and it was still such a shock to people's system that this all-American patriot is all of a sudden on the side of the Iraqis.
yeah,
To
the villains.
Yeah, so he actually had to have you know 24-hour security around him because of that, because people took it so seriously.
Yeah. Well, I know for Roddy Piper, he was stabbed once,
Mhm.
and then from that point on, he wore a leather jacket whenever he was out anywhere, and that leather jacket was actually bulletproof and stab proof.
Hmm.
I watched a
Oh
documentary
yeah.
on him. He had a very interesting life.
Oh yeah.
Grew up in rural Canada and was very much a fisticuffs, manly man type guy.
Yeah.
And he was basically Nada before the film. So that actually kind of transferred for him. So it was easy for him to play that part because he lived that life
Yeah.
of being on the
So
road from
he's
town to town, getting the
yeah,
job
the
here and there.
character is a drifter, and you know has pretty much everything he owns in a backpack, and he's just wandering from town to town looking for work because this is a bad economy where a lot of people are being laid off and things like that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people blame Reaganomics of the time and everything like that, but we were coming off the Carter administration,
Hmm.
which, we were doing massive gas lines and
Yes.
stuff. So
So I
I
think
don't,
this was actually filmed in late 70s and early 80s, right?
I
I
think it
think
was
it
87.
was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I can look that up while you chat around over there.
Okay.
88.
88. Oh, that's right. I must be thinking of something else then. I don't know. For some reason, to me, it just had more of a 70s feel than an 80s feel. Um,
No, I saw a deal with John Carpenter. He was talking about it, and it was actually, this was his response to Reaganomics.
okay.
Although you look at it nowadays, and it's not, it's corporate greed.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. That's what it always is, really.
I don't really think any particular party, because I think the politicians are from both sides are raking in money while everybody else is suffering on the back end.
Yeah. They can pass whatever legislation they want to pass and refuse any legislation they don't want because they know it's never going to affect them.
I mean, we have our own individual political views, and we try to
Mhm.
remain kind of politically neutral on here. But this is a very political film.
Well, it's political, but it doesn't really attack any particular one side. It
Yeah,
just attacks the entire system,
yeah. But if you,
which, you know, I feel is a better
John
message.
Carpenter did very well with that. He left it kind of neutral. It was supposed to be obvious that it was a response to Reaganomics, but to
Hmm.
see the way things have gone with the last few presidents, you see, it's not just a political thing. It's an all around thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's what I think
that's
people,
good storytelling. That's
yeah,
where you can throw
definitely.
something out there, and then somebody can get something different out of it than what
Absolutely.
what you had. But back to Roddy Piper.
Hmm.
Well, we could talk hours about this guy. This guy's the only other film that I've seen him in was Hell Comes to Frogtown, and that is an absolutely horrible, horrible film.
I
Um,
don't
uh,
even remember that film. Yeah, wow.
no, that's another
Okay.
sleepover film. We talked about Bloodsport a couple of weeks back or last week, depending on when this one comes out.
Yeah.
But no, Hell Comes to Frogtown, horrible B film.
Mhm.
Starred Roddy Piper and can't remember what her name is, but she was the love interest of Conan in the first Conan film.
No, okay. Um, I can't remember the name of it right offhand either, so
I want to think.
yeah,
I'm thinking Ingrid, but Bergman or
yeah,
something like that.
maybe.
Not Ingrid Bergman. That's a Silver Screen.
Well, so the film opens up with you know, John Nada, it's Roddy Piper's character, just wandering down the street, and there's a street preacher out there,
Sandal Bergman.
Sandalberg.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, street preacher out there, doing his thing, preaching and telling, spouting off a lot of what people would consider conspiracy theories and things like that.
Well, it's hard to do conspiracy theories nowadays because all the conspiracy theories we had came true.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully this isn't one of them.
Well, it is though. He's saying a bunch of things, and he ends up getting arrested and run off.
Yeah, he says, "Open your eyes, you're asleep."
Which is kind of interesting, also because he is actually clearly blind.
Yeah.
Like not well, blind visually.
Yes.
Like he physically can't see. But
Yes.
he has his eyes open more than a lot of people though.
Oh, there's another thing about this. This film opens up and it's got beautiful establishing shots.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what town they're in. I think they're in L.A.
It's definitely a big city, and it's kind of I think it's just kind of ambiguous what city it is. It's just kind of in any town, USA
Yeah.
type of thing. Any city, USA.
Yeah.
It's kind of sort of looks like LA, kind of sort of looks like Chicago. Depending on how you look at it. It's got a lot of big buildings, got a lot of alleyways.
Yeah, dark corners and stuff like that.
So he's walking around, wandering around, and he ends up in an employment office where he's kind of asking them if they have anything available, and the lady just tells him no, they don't have anything available for him. That she just kind of says everyone's struggling.
Well, this is an interesting term that I throw out just kind of as a joke when I'm talking to people about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to be a dig on anybody, but there's a term for this type of person. Goes from town to town looking for work, but he's homeless, and that's called a hobo.
Yes.
Most commonly made famous in the crash of the 1920s, where you would travel the railroads, and
yes,
they would have their own hobo language where they would put in signs and stuff in certain areas so you could tell if there was friendly people nearby or if the police in the area were bad or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's
Just watch out for this area because
yeah.
you might get harassed by police, or the people are not friendly to hobos, things like that.
Yeah.
And and the hobos are not bums.
They're honest people working, but they just don't have a
they
place.
just don't.
Things are hard. Their life is hard.
Yeah.
And it's extra hard on these people. It's a real problem. You don't see so many nowadays because there are a lot of.
Well, you don't see them.
No.
But they're
I guess we're aware of the hobo culture because it's been a whole thing that they've been trying to make everybody aware of. Yeah. And of course, back in the 30s and 40s and stuff like that, it wasn't uncommon for them to do a movie about a hobo. I mean, Of Mice and Men, those guys are hobos.
Yeah, yeah. So, I guess the more popular name for him, or the more known name, is Drifter, I guess. So.
Well, Drifter would be the common term for it.
More common, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Drifter, I mean, because John Rambo in First Blood was a drifter. It wasn't like he was looking for work. He was just passing through.
Well, I think that it's just Drifter has more of a wider definition to it, and I think most people do associate the word hobo with bum. And
well, I mean,
there is
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yes. And these are probably derogatory terms that we're just too ignorant to realize. Probably. Sorry if we're offending anybody, but
if there's any hobos or bums out there listening to this,
comment, fill us in. We would like to know.
I didn't mean to use that term. I guess I don't know. Tell us if there's a more accepted term for that.
Yeah, but there's a whole culture behind this, and we actually run into this because he comes into a camp after finding a job, right?
Yeah, so he finds himself he stumbles upon a construction site, and he goes and finds asks if he can talk to the superintendent out there.
Foreman, yeah.
Or the foreman, yeah. And the foreman informs him that it's a union work site, and so he kind of tells him that he gives him his union card, shows him that he's a union member, so He offers him a job. He went and found his own job, even though the employment agency couldn't.
Yeah,
Go
well,
figure.
we kind of find out why later on. But he meets Keith David, his
Yes.
character Frank Armitage,
Yeah.
in here.
So he's also working on that same job site.
Now, I got an interesting story about Keith David. A couple of years back, I personally fell for a death scam, a celebrity death scam, where they said Keith David had died. And I honestly believed that Keith David was dead for over a year. And I was totally heartbroken about it because he's such a brilliant actor. And I just love seeing him in anything that he's in.
So are you sure, though, that the timeline that you were in at the time, he actually died?
You
That
think I did a
just
timeline
kind of
shift?
shifted into a different timeline. where
You know,
he's
I had
still
another
alive?
actor that I ran across that, and it was John. Oh my God, he was in Roots, and he was in Good Times, where he played the
Oh,
dad,
John Amos?
John Amos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I was a kid.
That was another great actor. Man,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
just, that guy, he was believable in everything that he did.
Well, I'll tell you how believable he was. I was a kid. Of course, Good Times came out in the 70s,
70s, yes.
and it had a lot to do with, poverty in the black community and stuff like that.
Yes.
We would watch it because, it was something on, and it was a good show. It was funny.
Yeah.
But he was on there for a little bit. I remember being little and seeing him on there, and then all of a sudden he wasn't on there anymore. And I'd ask, I mean, when I say little, I would have been like 4 or 5 years old. I'd ask my mom, hey, what happened to the dad on the show? And she said, well, he died. And in my little kid brain,
Oh, okay.
I thought
So
that John
the
Amos.
character died.
Yeah, the
okay,
character
yeah.
died, but I thought that John Amos had died. So for the rest of my life, whenever I see John Amos in something, I'm all like, yes! But no, he went on to do. This is totally unrelated to this film,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Coming to America. That was
Coming to America. He did Beastmaster. This is one of the.
Yes.
That was another one. We got to do an episode on
Yes.
Beastmaster. That one is so B film, but it was played all the time on cable.
Yes, it was.
But he was in that wearing, I guess he was wearing a loincloth in that one.
I think so.
Yeah. He was mostly naked through the entire, with a quarterstaff.
Yeah. Just great actor.
Yeah, no.
Probably one of the best actors of all time, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Amazingly underrated. I mean, he should have been in a lot more stuff that he was in. Sure. Although he did make it into not Lethal Weapon. He was Bruce Willis one's. Die
Hard?
Yeah, he was in Die Hard 2.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
He was the only one that trusted John.
Well,
there was a twist about that.
I mean, of course, I have a rule about spoilers. It's like if the movie's more than 5 years old, you can't claim oh, you spoiled it.
Yeah, no, plot twist. He was sending him into danger just to get him killed, and it just kept on blowing up in his face. But anyhow, Keith David, another fantastic actor. He was in The Thing. He was in Platoon. He was in. He did voice work on Spawn, Rick and Morty.
Yes.
I remember him from Dirty Work with the Sheen brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Estevez brothers.
Yes.
Oh, technically the Estevez brothers, but it was Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez, which are brothers. The family name is Estevez, but the Sheens are what they use for.
Some of it.
Well, yeah. Charlie Sheen and Martin Sheen, his dad, their dad, used the Sheen name as a stage name, like Uncle Patches and Sinister Cinema. Oh God, he used to do the Navy commercials back in the day.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to be a Navy SEAL, it was probably because of him, because he was out there talking up the Navies. Yeah. He's got an epic voice.
With that voice.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you were going to do another Darth Vader character, you would have to have like Keith David doing the voice for it.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
But anyhow, we're going in. He meets.
Yeah. Way off on a tangent. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
All over the place. So he meets Frank Armitage, Keith David's character, there on the job site. Doesn't want to know him or anything like that. It's kind of a real jerk toward him, but he hits him up and lets him know there's going to be a camp. nearby where he can go and get some food and have a safe place to rest.
Yeah. Nada just kind of brushes him off, like, yeah, whatever, but then follows him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Keith David tries real hard to be the character tries to be a real bastard the entire film, but he's obviously a decent guy.
Yeah, he's a
It's
good.
just life is so hard for everybody.
He's the more cynical type of person. He's got the more negative outlook than and Nada. Roddy Piper's character has the more positive outlook. So Keith David's character mentions that he has, wife and two kids that live in a different city, and he pretty much just goes from town to town and finds whatever work he can and sends money back to them.
Roddy Piper had a similar story, didn't he?
Similar, yeah. So, but he never really
got into it.
says whether he actually has his family of his own either. Though.
He gets a hot meal, and that's when the weird stuff starts to happen because they got what I don't understand. All right, so it's an empty field next to a church on the outskirts of town, apparently.
Yes.
They've got a camp there. There are families out there. There are kids running around, and it's like you would see it's a hobo village. It's a homeless camp.
Yeah,
homeless camp is
where the people from the church are, kind of housing these people. They're providing.
Yeah, it's just an empty lot next across the street from the church. Apparently, they got a power cord running out there because somebody's running an ancient TV. You gotta understand.
Was it ancient at the time though? I don't know.
Well, it would have been a 70s TV.
Yeah, probably.
But all right, so if you're not familiar what TVs used to be like in the 80s and the 70s and 80s.
The old tube TVs.
Yeah, you would buy those at a furniture store because it would be wood with the TV in the center and they weighed about 4 tons.
Yeah.
So
which is the reason why TVs used to be called the tube is because of the fact that they had tubes that were.
Oh my God, my broken mind is working. There's something about Mary.
Oh.
Keith David was there something about Mary. He's got that one scene. How did you get the beans above the brakes?
That was so good. Yeah.
Oh, anyhow. So they got this old
beans.
All right. Anyhow, back to the TV.
So yeah,
they're watching TV, and they got of course everybody's gathered around watching the TV, and then there's something that breaks into the broadcast where somebody's talking about that you're asleep. It's the same story that the blind priest was saying, and Nada notices the blind priest is back.
Yeah, so he sees him going into the church, and he also notices that the church choir was singing at abnormal hours.
Yeah.
And
well, I remember him watching, and he was watching the priest, and the priest was mouthing the message that was trying to come over through the TV.
Yeah.
And everybody watching the TV starts to get a headache and start rubbing their eyes.
Yeah. So it's for something to do with the signal, kind of, I guess, interferes with the frequencies inside your brain. Also, so it gives people headaches.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten into the signal yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God. But the twist on this film is
a lot more to cover than we even
epic. Yeah, we haven't even got to the female lead on here. But
so he notices something strange about the church and everything else. So and I think that
he tries to mention it to the Keith David's character.
Yeah, and he's just like, look, we got a good thing going here. I don't want to interfere with anything that they've got.
Yeah, he's got his blinders on.
Yeah,
he's got a family to protect.
Yeah, and he says that he walks the fine line. He walks the and
he's trying really hard not to get his beans above his franks.
And Roddy Piper tells him that the middle of the road is the worst place to drive.
Yeah,
pretty much kind of telling him pick a side. You gotta stop riding the fence, And
then we go to day 2 on the work. Works another full hard day and everything like that. They go back and after work, they have a raid on the place after work?
Yeah, I think the police do raid the place.
The church go through and they take bulldozer, go through and arrest all the people in the homeless
I
camp.
think we're getting ahead a little bit. So, yeah, so I think Roddy Piper kind of goes into the church first. This is before the raid. He realizes that the choir is not an actual live choir. It's speakers. So it's he realizes that the church is kind of a front for something, kind of a cover. And then that's when the preacher stumbles across him, and being since he is blind, he goes and feels his face and realizes that he's not one of
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And then he gives him a pair of glasses, and he doesn't think twice about it.
No, I don't think he gives him a pair of glasses. I think that after the raid happens, Roddy Piper goes in there to see if why it was being
No, no,
raided.
he gives him a pair of glasses, man. I swear to God. Hang on.
No, he finds.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had to pause the recording and go outside and have a 5 minute and 20 second all out fist fight
That's right.
because we decided on this particular one, we were so familiar with the film that we were going to go into this conversation raw without watching it beforehand. And we had different points of view. So apparently, here's what we learned after we all, beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
We came back in and watched the part we were discussing and having an argument about. Here's what we found out. After the second day of work, Nada starts noticing that the head of the camp is hanging out at the church.
Yes.
And then he goes and starts snooping around. And that's when you get into the scene where the preacher comes in that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And yes, you were absolutely correct. He did not give him the glasses, but he did try to give him the glasses.
He did, yeah.
But one of the things that was in there on the wall, common theme throughout the entire film, was spray painted is they live while we sleep.
Yes. They live, we sleep. Yeah, you'll see a lot more messages like that later on in the film. Later on that night,
after he spends all day watching them, he
Yeah.
talks to one of the guys that was in the thing.
the place is raided, and the
Middle of the night, cops come in the middle of the
homeless
night,
camp
helicopters.
is, wiped out. Everyone is run off or arrested. Roddy Piper's character, manages to escape getting arrested himself. He goes back to the church the next day to see if there's anything left or any clues as to why it was raided.
Everything's gone. Everything's wiped out. There's nothing there. Although
most of everything's gone.
He did remember a secret panel before, and he happens to kick it open, and there's a box in there.
Still some boxes in there.
Yeah, because this place was filled with boxes.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a chance to check to see what was inside them.
Yeah.
So he grabs a box and he heads out to an alley somewhere.
Yes. He opens up the box and it's full of a bunch of sunglasses, and he's just wondering why.
Yeah, it's one random thing. I mean,
yeah. Takes a pair of sunglasses and just kind of hides the rest in a trash can. Doesn't really throw them away. He actually kind of he hides them.
He doesn't know what garbage day is.
Yeah. Pulls a bunch of trash out of the trash can and stuffs it inside, and then puts trash back on top of it. So it's not like he just threw them away. He was kind of hiding it for some reason.
Yeah. Because
he doesn't even really know why at the time. Yeah.
So he just starts walking down the street.
Yeah. Walks down the street and tries the sunglasses on, and all of a sudden everything is different.
Black and white.
Yeah. So he's seeing a color world, and then it's probably I guess, aesthetic choice. Everything is all of a sudden turns black and white, and he can see
the truth,
little messages that he wasn't able to normally see.
Yeah, everything's a lie. The billboards have messages like
instead of the actual ad that you would see with the naked eye with sunglasses, you see the underlying message. It's just, different messages like
consume. This is your God when he looks at your money.
God,
the magazines have different stuff on there like
marry and reproduce. Which, I think that's probably one of the only things that doesn't resonate with today's
what's going on.
Yeah.
But
I think everything else kind of has come true. As we have mass consumerism. Everyone's just buying into propaganda and just wants to have the latest whatever it is, things like that. People just buying into that blind consumerism that we've always been warned about. And
Consume, obey.
the only thing is, instead of marry and reproduce, it should be don't marry, have promiscuous sex, and have lots of abortions.
Yeah, that's kind of the modern theme.
He's kind of going around and not knowing what's going on. If anything he's seeing is actually even real.
Well, they explain later on that the glasses are kind of intoxicating.
Yeah. So he wears them for a while and then realizes that when he after
Oh
a
no,
while
he's exploring the new world that he sees finally for the first time,
hmm
and he goes into a supermarket.
yeah, and he starts seeing that there's and
Messages.
not only are there weird messages around everywhere, some of the people are not even human.
Yeah, they look like zombies, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're
And the other strange thing that he notices is that they're interacting with regular humans also.
and then
So
the regular humans can't see that they're talking to what we find out later on are aliens,
yes,
and the aliens are well-to-do. Any
yeah,
of the aliens that you see have
yeah.
wealth.
None of the aliens are homeless. None of them are drifters looking for work or any of that other
Wearing
stuff.
fur coats
Yeah.
and gaudy gold jewelry.
Mhm.
He starts. This is where Roddy Piper really shows up in the film. Because he started looking around. He was all like, "You, look, you're okay."
Yeah.
And then he looks at what is supposed to be obviously an old woman,
hmm
and he says, "You're just one ugly bitch."
Yeah. This one, formaldehyde face.
Yeah. Oh, God. Now, so Roddy Piper was a notorious shit talker.
This movie is another very quotable movie. It's probably one of the movies that the one-liner comes from. You know, the famous quotes of
Well, I mean, you get a lot. I mean, back in the day,
like,
you had a couple of movies that came out that had a lot of one-liners, and then they had a video game that came out was supposed to be a spoof of all these things
yes.
called Duke Nukem.
hmm
And Duke Nukem was all these
He was
macho
like
characters all combined into one. And yeah, you ran across. He was always dropping one-liners in the Duke Nukem games.
Yes.
They're absolutely fantastically fun games.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem 3D, I think, is the big one. That was the one that
Yeah.
came out. It was one of the first
hmm
major
That's where they went to first person.
shooters from.
Yeah.
I think Wolfenstein was the first one,
hmm
and this.
Then Doom came out, and that was very popular, and then Duke Nukem
And Duke
comes
Nukem.
continuing on that trend. The first two Duke Nukem games were side scrollers. Didn't do very well, but the third one, Duke Nukem 3D, was massively popular.
Yeah, no. If you were going to talk some smack back in the day, it had to come from Duke Nukem, which was just pulled from this film and Army of Darkness and
Yeah, all kinds of different. He was a composite of several different action stars.
So Roddy's talking smack in this place, and this woman realizes that he can see who she is, and she talks into
Yes.
her watch and says, "I have one that sees."
Yeah, and then she disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just vanishes.
Yeah.
After like a flash. So he runs out of there, and next thing you know, the cops pull up on him.
Yeah. So the police try to stop him. He sees that I think no,
One of them.
both of them.
No.
In this instance.
You had a regular guy, and you had an alien that was with him, and the alien that was with him was the higher rank.
Okay. I thought he ran into the
Are we gonna have to have another 5-minute fight?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. We'll be right back. All right. We're back. You were right.
Yeah, I was right about that one.
You're right about that one. All right.
So, but the lady in the, I was mixing up the lady in the supermarket with the person in the bank.
This is probably going to be the last time we go into one of these raw. Well, we were sitting there watching the scenes so we could get caught up on what we remember.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, we had to stop the film because it's just so it brings you in.
Yeah, it's so engrossing. It's just like you're watching it and you're sucked in.
All right. So when he was walking around the supermarket, these are all very affluent people that are there, but they're all aliens.
All of them.
And then
all dressed very nice and things like that, and they're clearly doing pretty well for themselves.
So he's watching the news report on there, and he stops, and he just says, just figures it had to be something like this.
Yeah.
So he's all in. He understands this is the way things are, and there was no winning to begin with.
Yeah.
Everybody stops. Well, he starts making fun of the one lady.
Yeah. So he accidentally bumps into a lady, and she's just like, "Excuse me," like, you know, more or less. Her tone is like, "It's your fault,"
Yeah,
but I'm just gonna. It's
you're
more.
scum of the earth. You can
Yeah.
hear it in her voice. Yeah, and then he starts doing Roddy Piper on her, and oh my god. From like here on out, we watched probably about 5 minutes of the film, and he is dropping one-liners and insults on these people. Well, these aliens. What was it? He walked outside. Well, when he's in the shopping center, and they
Mhm.
figure out that he can see. I totally forgot this, and it's spooky. They all start looking at him, talking into their watches, and giving reports on what he looks like,
Mhm.
how tall he is, just like a police report, giving the description of a perp.
Yeah.
So he backs out of there and he starts walking down the street, and there's a woman looking in a window, and she's putting makeup on. And he said, that's like putting lipstick on a pig. So he makes it down to an alleyway, and the cops pull up.
Yes.
And this is what you were saying.
Yeah. So they are both aliens.
Yeah.
Um, and he gets into a fight with them because they're kind of just trying to tell him like, "Hey, you're not seeing what you're seeing."
Well, I
And
think they were trying. Well, you find
well,
out later on that if you find out, they try to bribe you in first rather than
yeah, yeah.
disposing of you.
There's yeah. If you just come with us, maybe we can all come to an understanding. Blah blah blah. And then he's not having it, so he kind of gets into a fight with them.
He gets into a Roddy Piper fight with him, and it's Keith David gets into the most epic fight with him a little bit
Yeah,
later
well,
on.
that's later on.
And he talks about it. He goes, if I'm going to do a fight scene with anybody, Roddy Piper's the guy to do it with, because you feel so protected with him because he was such a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
He was able to walk him through the fight. But anyhow, he tears these cops up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
brutal. Gets one of their guns, kills them dead, and then he stalks
Yeah.
up.
So yeah, he gets both of their guns, gets the shotgun out of the car,
Grabs a
and
baton. I guess he grabbed
yeah,
the Sam Brown of one of the cops, so had that slung over his shoulder.
yeah, yeah. And so he's walking down the street, totally strapped up,
Cops are
and
coming around, so he
yeah,
backs
and
into
then
a
he
building
goes into a building, which turns out to be a bank,
and
and
stops, looks around, and drops the coldest one-liner I've ever heard in a film.
one of the best, one of the best lines of any film.
You're gonna have to say it, dude.
Okay, I have to say it.
Yeah. Well, you want me to say it? You want?
I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yep. Now there's a story behind that. I saw an interview with John Carpenter, and he said that when he hired Roddy Piper on,
Hmm.
he gave him a notebook because he played a heel in the WWF back in the day,
Yeah.
before they had to change it to the WWE.
Yes.
He was a commentator, and he would talk up the fights, and he was always what you would call a shit talker.
Uh-huh.
In order to keep his persona up and everything like that, he would write down one-liners in a notebook on how to insult people and stuff like that. And this was one of the ones that was in there. John Carpenter went through it and said, "Oh, this is it. This one right here." And he totally gives us like, yeah, no, he totally wrote that one line for that film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he starts blasting.
So yeah, so he just starts shooting the place up, which, of course,
Only the aliens.
yeah, to only the aliens, of course. But to regular people that don't know that they're aliens, it looks like he's just some maniac just went and started shooting up a bank. Yeah, this is the first kind of depiction of a mass shooting in a film. And
Well, no, I mean, you had in '88, we would have had. All right, so there's a whole progression of mass shooters.
yeah, yeah,
Back in the '80s, it wasn't school shootings so much. Those were gang members that were shooting up schools,
yeah.
and they didn't report on those. Now,
Usually
not
not. Yeah.
local news, you would hear about stuff,
Hmm.
but it was going postal because they had overworked postal
Yeah, yeah.
workers.
So that was what it was kind of known as for a long time.
Yeah, postal
That was
workers.
if you've ever heard that term, which I mean, most yeah, I don't think that term's been used for a long time, but
Yeah, nobody under 30 has heard that.
yeah, there was a a game. I think it was a first-person game that was called Postal, and that's where the term comes from. Is a lot of postal workers are overworked,
It
and
didn't happen a lot.
they're a very high stress environment. So sometimes some of them would snap and go on these violent rampages,
That
and so
actually inspired a movie as well, and we'll probably add that one to the list later on
yeah,
down the
yeah.
line called Falling Down with
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah. You may remember Michael Douglas because he plays the original Ant-Man from the Ant-Man movies, the one that trained Paul Rudd.
Yes.
But Falling Down was a good film. That was back when he was young. That was
Very
after he
good.
did Romancing the Stone,
Hmm.
which is a great film. It's kind of a romance. So it doesn't really suit for two guys talking about it, but we may throw it in there because it was
Maybe.
Indiana Jones Light is what that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's Indiana Jones without Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
sort of.
But anyhow, back to this. I can't remember how he gets out of the bank. Things start going to hell.
Yeah, so things just start going off. This is where the person actually teleports away. The person,
Yeah,
is describing him and describing what's going on, things like that. And he looks at him. He's like, "Mama don't like tattletales," and he's about to shoot the person, and the person disappears, or the alien disappears. So he kind of runs outside. He's just trying to get away from all the chaos. He sees like a drone spots him and is
oh yeah, that's very interesting. Drones weren't a thing back then. So this
yeah,
was something.
no, yeah, this was something that was
This was
not.
high science fiction.
Yeah.
Of this a little camera thing running
Hmm.
around. No, it's totally what a drone would be nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. And he shoots that out of the sky, and it's kind of funny because all the pieces are, you hear the pieces falling all around it, but you see from a regular human's perspective, and like he's just kind of dodging out of the way, ducking out of the way, and out of nothing.
Yeah, nobody can see the
Yeah,
drone going
which
around.
is I think kind of interesting though, because those pieces would be all over the ground, but you couldn't see them.
Yeah, what if a kid walked by and just cut his foot?
Yeah. So anyway, this is when a human cop finds him after hearing the gunshot. I think Roddy Piper disarms him and tells him to beat your feet, get out
Eat
of here.
feet, yeah.
And so the cop runs it. Young, looks like a rookie cop. So he just he runs off. He
Yeah,
doesn't know.
he's not killing any people. He's killing aliens through
Yeah.
the entire thing. So
So then he ends up
we should
going
come up to
into
Meg Foster's character here,
yeah,
right? So he
yes,
winds up
this is where it is. He runs into a parking garage, I think, right?
he does it's like a carjacking. He picks her up and
Yeah,
takes her
so
in the car and then makes her drive him home. Meg Foster's an interesting character. Holly Thompson.
yes,
I think Holly Thompson's the name of the character. How we got these worked up.
yes.
But Meg Foster, I've seen a couple of interviews with her. She has got strikingly crystal blue eyes.
Yes.
And she said that the only reason why she got parts in all these B science fiction films back in the day is because her eyes were like a cheap special effect. But no, she's got these amazing eyes. Absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
She played Evil Lynn in the He-Man movie with
Mm,
Dolph Lundgren.
okay. Yeah.
She was in a bunch of other stuff. I can't remember what other films she was in.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, she did a bunch.
So,
She
so
was one of those character actors that did a bunch of stuff back in the day.
yeah. So he realizes that he's got to get out of there because he knows what it appears to be to everyone else. That like I said, some maniac just went and shot up a bank.
Yeah.
So, and he knows he's not going to get out of there on foot.
And at this point, he's not feeling very well.
Yeah. So he knows he can't get out of there on foot. So he kind of carjacks this woman, and he has her drive him off to her apartment.
Where he's going to hold up for a little bit. And I think
Yeah.
when they're getting out, he wants her to drive directly into her garage so nobody could see him getting out. And I think her neighbor notices him down in there.
Yeah, when they go inside the apartment, that's when he takes the sunglasses off and realizes that he's got this massive headache. And that's when she kind of takes advantage of the fact that he's sort of incapacitated, and she hits him over the head with a vase or something like that.
Well, they have a conversation.
Yeah, they do have
It seems like
short
he's going to win her
conversation
over.
before.
He
Yeah.
keeps on telling her to put on the glasses.
Yeah.
And she's reluctant to do it.
And
But he gets
she
distracted.
tells him that she's just going to see whatever he wants her to see anyway. So
Yeah,
it
so
doesn't matter whether she puts them on or not.
Yeah.
Because
She can't be trusted. She tells him flat out.
yeah.
You're not going to be able to trust anything I say because I'm just going to say what you want me to see.
Yeah.
So she's not going to trust the process at all, which is a common theme in this as well, because Keith David comes up a little bit later on. Actually, pretty much the next scene after this. So he looks out the window when he hears a helicopter coming over, and she hits him over the head with a vase.
Yeah.
And he crashes through a plate glass window and then falls down a mountain. And he's already put down all of his guns and everything like that, so he's back to square one. He doesn't have the glasses because they were left in the apartment. He had set all of his guns down, and he lost the pistol that he was holding when he went down the hill.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's back to square one. He doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
So what's his plan? He goes back to the box.
Yeah. So he goes and finds Keith David, telling to him from behind a dumpster in an alleyway. Keith David's character is kind of like, "What the hell are you doing? Everyone's looking for you.
Stay the hell away from me."
Everyone's looking for you. Again,
you killed all those people, because he's been all over the news at this point.
They weren't people. He goes and finds his sunglasses again after they're in a dump truck at that point.
The truck is fixing to pull off with it, and he gets up there and gets up underneath it and was able to get it dumped out onto the street.
We're just doing it over the whole movie. It's funny. Before we just go into the entire thing, he meets up with Keith David again, and they have the best fight scene out of any movie ever.
It's a full 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's brutal.
This is not a movie fight. This is
not a John Wayne fight where you hit the guy and he goes down.
Yeah.
This is his WrestleMania 9 fist brawl that they're having here. And like I was saying earlier, Keith David talked about it. Roddy Piper's dead now, so this would have been after he died. He said, "Look, if you're going to do a fight scene with anybody, it would have to be him, because he was so skilled." And he made you feel real safe in anything you do, which is really surprising when you look at the actual fight, because it's horrible.
Yeah, it's completely on asphalt and concrete.
Yeah, and they're running each other's face against the brick walls, and they're kicking each other in the nuts,
slamming each other into the dumpsters and into cars that are parked nearby, stuff like that. It is a brutal fight.
Now, they spoofed this fight in South Park. With the two disabled kids.
Yes.
But it's hilarious enough because, from what I understand, in the South Park, it's the exact same fight, but you had a kid on canes and a kid that was in a wheelchair doing this fight scene. But it's a shot-for-shot remake of that fight.
Move-for-move, shot-for-shot remake.
Lasting 5 minutes and 20 seconds in a cartoon.
Yeah.
With two disabled kids, which shouldn't be funny. But it is.
But it is funny.
It is funny. It's hilarious.
It's totally played up.
The absurdity of it is what makes it.
It's totally played up as if it's supposed to be funny, because it was supposed to be funny.
Yeah. So this fight's brutal. They're and all he's trying to do is he's trying to get Keith David to put these sunglasses on.
My daughter asked me why is this fight so intense and everything. It's like, well, the whole thing is a metaphor. You're trying to get somebody to see the truth or see your point of view.
You have to see how they led up to the fight. It starts with Keith David shows up. He feels bad for him. He knows the guy's probably not well. Yeah, but he'd gotten his paycheck for him, and he was going to pay him off to just leave.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, before you go, try on these sunglasses." And he says,
and he's like,
"You stay the hell away from me."
Yeah.
And Roddy Piper is all in on trying to get him to put these sunglasses on.
Just put them on.
Leads to this horrible, horrible fight, which could have been totally avoided if he'd put the sunglasses on. But what are the sunglasses? The sunglasses show you the truth.
Yes. So you're trying to get someone to see the truth, or at the very least, your point of view. And they are just not having it. They just, and this is just the struggle they're going through to get them to just understand what you're trying to tell them and just really come to grips with it.
Yeah, this is an absolute physical representation of having an argument with somebody with a different point of view.
Yeah.
It's
just the best.
It's epic. Yeah. It's one of the best fight scenes ever in a film.
Are we going to go over the rest of the movie, or are we just going to try to do a rundown of the overall themes and all that?
This is a fantastic film. I guess you could say with everything that's going on nowadays, it's really relevant, and it's scary how relevant this film is.
Yeah, to pretty much everything, because more or less come true or is being revealed to be, how things actually are.
Yeah, we were
It's
talking
just
earlier. It's like
the blind consumerism. People they have to have the new thing. We were taught a lot different than that. We were taught to be aware and be wary of consumerism. And
well, I get annoyed when I have to buy a new computer every 2 years or a new phone every 2 years, but you
yeah,
can't keep the same phone or computer for very long
well,
because they make them obsolete. They'll do updates on the
yeah,
phones.
but you can still go. You can still make it fly with the old technology. You don't
They make it
necessarily, but
difficult.
but the thing is, there are so many people that as soon as the new thing comes out, they're in line
They
for it,
absolutely
and
have
so
to have it. Yeah, so it's
I
a
mean,
struggle. It's a struggle because they're constantly updating stuff. They're
yeah, they're
constantly
constantly updating it, but you can still make it by with the old technology.
yeah.
There are so many people that are into that blind consumerism, and they have to have the latest thing, and it's just they bought into that whole thing.
You gotta have the
Which
fanciest shoes. I don't understand the shoe thing.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
like a cult following for
Oh yeah, yeah,
sneakers.
yeah. It's everything has that thing. Look at all the people with the iPhones,
My dad bought one pair of
things like that.
boots, and he kept on having. In the time period that I'd known him, he had the same pair of boots that he had resold like 6 or 7 times
Yeah,
after the soles wore through on them.
yeah.
But you got people that are buying used sneakers
Mhm.
for hundreds of dollars that's been on somebody's smelly feet. Well, I mean, it was even bad back in the day. You had kids killing each other in the street over sneakers.
Yeah,
That was
it's
happening when
crazy.
this movie came out.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, it's a lot worse now. There's a lot more of that propaganda stuff.
Well,
Everyone's jumping on the
is there a
bandwagon.
lot more now, or are we just seeing it now?
No, there's a lot more.
Do we have our glasses on?
We have our glasses on. There's a lot of people that still don't. That's the thing. And, we're gonna have to get into these brutal fights with every single one of them to get them to actually open their eyes and put the
I don't.
sunglasses on.
I'm tired. 10, 15 years ago, I would argue with people about it, and I just don't have the energy to do it anymore. I'm 50 years
Yeah.
old, and
And that's why we're doing this podcast. That way,
we're doing
if
this podcast to
you
talk about.
stumble across it, you'll be like, oh wait, I don't have to get in a fight with these guys. You can actually realize that, oh, I have been doing that.
Well, this is just here for people to so you can hear our
I-
point of view on what we thought of the films from back in the day.
yeah, of course.
And honestly, this film is what almost 30 years old,
Yeah, yeah,
and when you get old, you don't realize time has passed the older you get,
yeah.
because this film
Oh
feels like
man,
it should be about 10 or
you
15
know,
years old.
that's the funny thing. Time is just ridiculous. I'll be mentioning, referencing something. Oh yeah, it was like the other day, a few weeks ago. So it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
What the hell? What
yeah.
happened?
Well, I mean, we're going to be doing a Transformers the movie
Yeah,
from 1987 or 86, 86,
yeah,
because
86.
we're doing the 40-year anniversary of it.
Hmm.
We're going to try to get a female host on so she can give the kids' female perspective of it, time changing and everything like that. That film only feels like it's 20 years old, and it's 40 years old.
Yeah, yeah, but still holds up today. I mean, you may look at it. A lot of it's very period from that era. Like the clothing, this and that, hairstyles,
Well, I mean, a
all that
lot of the
other stuff.
clothing is pretty standard for what you see nowadays. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, you got Roddy Piper's character. He's wearing a flannel shirt and jeans
yeah,
and
that's
work
that's
boots.
still a thing
So yeah,
nowadays.
of course. And
Well,
but
what the major thing is that everybody's clean shaven.
true.
Well, I mean, you got the one braggart. He's kind of got
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mustache and stuff
He's
like
got the
that.
beard and all that.
But in the 80s and 90s, everybody was clean shaven most
For
of
the
the
most
time.
part, yeah.
Where everybody
That
nowadays, manly men have
yeah.
beards.
Yeah, you either have a beard or you at least have the like scruffy look, just this kind of stubble or whatever. You don't really see a lot of adults with adult males with clean shaven faces that much anymore.
What gets me about watching older films, this one in particular, you sit there and you watch it and it's like you lived through that time period, so you're used to the cars and everything like that, and then you sit
Mhm.
back and you don't watch it for a while, and then you watch it again. It's like, man, look at all these old cars.
A great car. They made out of actual metal.
I mean, the '80s cars weren't all that great. I mean, you get some people that
Yeah.
talk up the Mustangs from back in the
Different.
day, but my
It
Mustang
was-
was in the '60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your Mustang was in the '90s when you got out of the military.
Yes.
Well, when you got a basic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had a Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird perspectives. The older you get, time slows down. Well, it perceives to slow down, but it's actually going way faster than what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's They Live. It is a fantastic film. I don't know why Roddy Piper didn't do more films after this.
Yeah. You would think that this would have kind of established him as an action star.
Yeah, I mean, when we did Bloodsport a couple of weeks back, and the acting in that was terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
And you do Roddy.
No, his acting in this was you compare the two movies, the acting in Bloodsport was really stiff and really just it was they were acting. You felt like you were watching a play because it was like the acting was.
You were
so
watching
stiff.
a kid acting.
Yeah, but this movie, no, it was very real.
Yeah, it was grounded. It was so grounded, and Roddy Piper did such a fantastic job in this film.
Yeah.
You know, other than Hell Comes to Frogtown, I saw him in one other production, and that was Highlander, the TV series.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, so he played an enforcer for a rich guy and would take heads. I don't know if you've ever seen Highlander, the TV series, anybody that's listening, but it was based off the Highlander, the movie, one of my favorite films of all time. We're planning on doing something on that a little bit later down the line.
The series is really good.
Yeah, the TV series. All right, so there was like a bunch of Highlander movies, but in the end, there was only one, and that was there can be only one Highlander film. But yeah, the first one was what launched everything. The following films were absolutely terrible. The second film was like the worst it ever made.
Yeah, yeah. But the
TV series
was solid. That was.
Yeah, it added to the mystique of the original storyline from the film.
Yeah.
But Roddy Piper showed up in like the third or fourth season on there for, they would have a kill of the week, apparently, where they would have a villain come in, wreak havoc, and they'd get into a sword fight, and McLeod would cut their head off.
See, here's an interesting thing. I'm kind of going off, kind of on a tangent. They tried to do a Crow series, and they just totally botched it. But I think if they did it like that, where it just spanned across different time periods and stuff like that, it could have actually worked. Where there was different, they could have had different people that were embodying the spirit of the Crow.
What was interesting about the Highlander TV series?
What's that?
It had a bunch of rockers in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like Joan Jett was in it. Roger Daltrey was in it. He was a recurring character.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the '80s pop singers from back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very interesting show. But yeah, Roddy Piper showed up in that. He was fantastic, which is surprising because at that point in time he had pretty much tore up his rotator cuff in I think his right arm.
Yeah.
And it kind of hung off to the side. If you watch really close, he was in constant pain toward the end of his life. You look at Keith David now; he looks fantastic. He looks like a villain from the original Running Man.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero?
Yeah. I think his hairstyle is
Flame Zero, no. Who else is in there? Like Gladiator, dude.
Well, they had Jesse Ventura.
The only reason why I said that, so that was the only character that I actually remember from that film.
Well, they also had the opera singer.
Yeah.
Electro or something like that.
Electro, yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of great films back in the day. Roddy Piper should have been in a lot more. It's sad that he's gone now. Fantastic role. Fantastic. Keith David did fantastic in here. Meg Foster does great in everything that she does.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's got these brilliant blue eyes. If you ever get a chance to check her out, you see her nowadays. She an older woman, and those eyes are just spooky on her.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Well, that's the thing. If you watch this movie, that is definitely what you will notice about her.
Yeah.
The eyes, how striking, how piercing they are.
So I guess we're coming down to the end of the. Oh my God, we've run long on this one. All right.
Yeah, we're definitely got to cut this down.
So we went long. We'd like to highlight a charity or a nonprofit at the end of this, with the theme of this being hobos and and homeless people and everything like that, just find your local soup kitchen. Go down and help out there, or donate to a homeless shelter, the YMCA,
Yeah.
anything you can.
There are people that are less fortunate than ourselves, and people need help sometimes, once in a while.
Life is hard. Life is hard. It's hard on everybody. It gets harder for some other people, and it doesn't hurt to help out.
Absolutely.
When you can. You've been listening to what we saw on Stolen Cable. The future's so bleak, I had to wear shades to see they live. This is Uncle Patches signing off.
Yeah, Sinister Cinema.
Have a fantastic evening.
See you next time.
Yeah.